Hello there, and welcome to a Starfield ship review video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the Pterosaur, or in my case, the Pterosaur 3. Now, as I've said in my previous videos, the tier, or the number, it's not technically numbers, it's like Roman numerals, but Roman numerals are numbers in a way. But the higher the tier, it just denotes an increase in specific stats. So for instance, this Pterosaur 3 has a reactor of 27. A Pterosaur 1 will have the same class of reactor, but it could be only 20. Aesthetically, regardless of the tier, the ships will be exactly the same. So yeah, let's get into it. So I reviewed a version of this ship before, called the first Pterosaur. It's a rarer version that you can only get through doing one of the faction quest lines. So if you've seen that video and you had already completed the quest line, well, you can get a version of it. Now, I think aesthetically it's probably going to be very similar. I can probably pull it up in a minute just to double check, but usually with these ships, when they have like a faction that takes a ship to kind of modify it, they do very little to modify it. But anyway, it's primarily a Nova Galactic ship. The cockpit and most of the habitats are Nova Galactic. Now, it's got some other pieces from other factions. We've got some Shroud Eklund pieces there, some Tayo pieces. And I believe they're Hope Tech. So, like, amalgamation of all sort of pieces. But yeah, it's primarily a Hope Tech, or not Hope Tech, a Nova Galactic vessel. So stat-wise, it's got a fuel of 300, which is quite good. Usually, like, the way ship travel works in this game, if you have a smaller, like, amount of fuel, you have to basically make hops. So, for instance, if you're going from point A to, say, point C, and you only have a 50 fuel, you have to go A, B, C. The more fuel you have, the higher your jump, you don't need to make hops. So, anything above 200 is generally quite good. So, that fuel is perfect for basically going wherever you want. It's got a hull of almost 1,940, which is pretty decent. Like, this is primarily supposed to be a combat vessel, if I can remember correctly. So having an almost 1k hull on a B-class ship is really good. It's got a cargo capacity of 200, which is kind of low, but then combat vessels in this game, I think that they all have very low cargo because, well, most of them, because they want to not sacrifice weight in space of cargo capacity. So it's a B-class reactor with 27 power, which is quite good for a B-class. I want to say the highest tier reactor is 33. I don't think it's that reactor there. I think it's a different reactor, but you could easily swap it out if you wanted to. It's got a crew of 5, which is pretty interesting, pretty good. I'm assuming there's going to be a control room on it because the ship's quite long. We shall check when we get inside it. And then it's got a jump range of 30, which is phenomenal. It's the highest jump range you can get in the game. With this jump range, jump drive, and the fuel, you can jump anywhere. Shield of 830, which is very impressive for a combat vessel. Now, obviously, this is the Tier 3 version, so if you find the Tier 1 version, the version with that number in it, it probably won't have as high shields. But it's nice to know that, like, at the Tier 3, the shielding on it is quite competitive. And then it's got 3 sets of weapons. It's got laser, ballistic, and missiles. It has the laser weapon off to on the port winglet. The ballistic are mounted inside the winglets on the port and starboard. And then you've got a missile launcher on the starboard winglet. So this cost me 191,040. Now your price may vary depending on your perks. I have the perk to decrease the cost of things. So if you don't have that perk and you're going for a tier 3, it'll probably be about 230, 240. Obviously, if you're getting a tier 1 version, it's going to be significantly cheaper, probably like 130k. The main price difference in the tier is just they're using a better kind of like module, so better reactor, better shields, and they're quite pricey. So we're going to purchase it real quick. So I found this here at the Hope Tech in Hopetown. There's Hopetown. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. There's Hopetown there. It's on Polvo in the Valo system. Valo is right inside Narian. They're like right beside one another. There is there. And then there's Alpha Centauri. Now, this is just the generic vendor. You can get these in other places. This is where I found it. If you come here and it's not here, I recommend going to Mercury and just sitting in a seat in your ship and wait 24 hours. Because 24 hours on Mercury is like 3,000 hours in game. and that will reset every single ship vendor. So you can come back here and check your luck again. Now, it might not be here, you might do it a few times, but yeah, it will be in other places. So we're going to really quickly jump somewhere better to get a view of it. Alright, so here we are here. As you can see, it's a very cool looking ship. It kind of has that, like when you think of a sci-fi fighter, you've got like the kind of the main body of the ship, and then you've got two kind of off-shooting engines. They're kind of connected to the side. Cool use of pieces. It's quite interesting because we'll do a teardown at the end of the video, obviously. But you could modify this better and kind of make it more customizable. Like there's a lot of room for improvements, in my opinion at least. I might showcase some potential improvements when we get to that part, but anyway, let's go hop inside. So if I remember from the first one, yeah, there's like a cutaway in the middle here where you can enter, which is kind of interesting. I quite like this. I feel like, I don't know if it was intentional, but it's quite cool because it feels like enclosed. Like imagine if you land on a planet and you're like kind of deploying troops or whatever. You have like this section, obviously, you know, you can see under here, but it kind of, yeah, it just kind of protects the crew from like fire from above. There's a lot of ships that you either come out on the front or the side. This is quite cool. Now, it would make moving cargo quite difficult, but yeah, aside from that. So we got a Nova Galactic entryway, the ladder going up. I always want to grab the med pack. And up we go. So this mainly being a Nova Galactic combat vessel, I'm expecting some interesting stuff. So immediately we are greeted by a...
Now you're not pestering the captain.
I believe this is an all-in-one berth.
Pester?
Yeah, this is a Nova Galactic all-in-one berth.
Oh, never.
Quite nice. I really like Nova Galactic ships. They're like an older manufacturer, but like they kind of feel more lived in. Like Nova Galactic is kind of the company that makes ships for people, not for like corporations or like defense industries. It looks like a really quite comfy couch there. You got like bed, very lived in. I thought that was a mini fridge, but it's just not. Does that plant have... No, okay.
I hope you're having a good day.
And then if we come back this way, we have a 1x1 storage room, Nova Galactic, with a docking port up there. We'll drop down there in a second. I just want to check. I have a feeling the... Cora, please. Thank you. I'm feeling the bridge is up this way. Okay, yeah, so we'll drop down first. So we drop down here, and we have another... just a 1x1 storage room. Up we go again. It's nice to be back on this character. A couple of my other reviews I did recently, or recorded recently, I was on my older character, and I didn't have the high jump. I had like the skip jump, and it was very difficult. But anyway, so we have a Nova Galactic server room, which is really cool. Like, I think, honestly, like, Nova Galactic kills it with their interiors, in my opinion. They just look really nice. Because, like, Hope Tech are very industrial. Deimos are too, like, sterile. If that's probably not the best word to describe it. But yeah, it's just very kind of military and stuff. And then Tayo, I don't know, Tayo just kind of fails. Like, when you hop into a Tayo, you imagine, like, hopping into, like, you know, like a kind of a... like a Range Rover or like a Jaguar or like a Rolls Royce, but like you hop in and you're just like, bruh, what is this? But anyway, got a computer terminal here. You can't use it, but you know, your crew, this provides one extra crew slot, which isn't bad, but I would probably swap it out. You know me by now. I swap it out. We've got a ladder that goes down to another 1x1. Oh, I can remember now. So I'm vaguely remembering the other review. I probably said the exact same thing. These like spots down here are kind of pointless. Like there's one there and there's one at the back. Like obviously from a roleplay point of view, you know, you've got extra storage spots, but I'd probably remove them and replace them with something else, like exterior pieces. Oh, we have a control room. Nice. Okay. So you don't need to replace that. So we've got the Hope Tech control, or I keep saying Hope Tech, but Nova Galactic control room. Really nice. I quite like this. It's got chairs on like the Deimos one. And then we have another ladder that goes, it goes up and down. So down we go to another 1x1 storage room. And then if we go all the way up, we are in, is this a captain's quarters? Oh, it is. I remember now. I really like this placement of the captain's quarters. We've got a nice view, a lot of view here. You can see multiple windows there and there. And then we have like this. This is like my favorite, like captain's quarters. It's just so cool. It's very lived in. You got the little planet sculpture. You've got like a computer that is not working currently. Got a little supply shelf. I like that feature, even though it's completely. Can I? Oh no, I can grab stuff from it. Never mind. Close that. And then we've got like some luggage, and then back here we have a little kind of a chill area with a couch. We have a toilet. I don't think we have a toilet, but I know a commenter said in the past, I can't remember, apologies, but I know that you mentioned it and I didn't realize it. Putting windows can remove toilets, so potentially there was a toilet here at one point, but they ripped it out for the window, which, I don't know, maybe you like peeing in bottles, but I don't. This water tastes funny, please change filter if you feel sick. Okay, moving on. Let's before we get done for poisoning the crew. So back down here, we have the control room, which we showcased, and then we go to the bridge. And I can already tell it's my favorite bridge. Yeah, I really like this bridge. You've got your pilot seat up front, nice visuals, not a lot of visuals, but decent enough. Then you've got like your two crew seats behind you, you've got a co-pilot there, and you've got a navigator, and they're slightly down. They're like in a kind of a little pit, so you can kind of look over and like, yeah, your course is correct, good job. Anyway, let's take this off and see how she performs. If I remember correctly, the first version performed quite decently. It's quite a capable combat vessel. It's kind of a bit of a shame that it was only tied to like a specific faction that you don't really see outside of that, because it was a fun ship to fight against. We've got those 3 large engines there. Back engine looks a little bit funky to me. No support. I probably would have put like a support structure there just to prevent the back falling off. Okay, so I have a perk that increases my power by 5. So for the sake of this video, we're going to be fiddling with it. Not bad though. Like you've got a decent amount. So we've got laser weapon, singular laser weapon there. Pair of ballistic cannons on the wing, and then your missile. Pretty decent armament. You could do some work with this. We'll do a speed test. So we've got a speed of 140, which for a B class isn't too bad. Boost speed like 520. Okay, is she fast? Which, looking at it, you'd hope so with those engines. So we're gonna do a quick agility test. So pitch. Okay, pitch is quite slow. Not extremely slow, probably like a 6. And then the yaw. Yaw is also like a 6 or 7. And then the roll. Roll's about average. The thing is, roll's hard to kind of test. So yeah, this is the ship itself. We're gonna really quickly do a teardown now, so you can see how it's built. Alright, so here we are in the teardown. So we got 3 levels as usual. So the only 2 habitat modules on this top level is the captain's quarters, which also has 2 portals on the top that I did not spot. I don't think they were visible, if I'm being honest, but I could have been blind, but just something to note. And then we have this docking port from both Nova Galactic, the docking port, and the captain's quarter 2x1. And then for the modules, we have the DC-302 fast ignition reactor, 27 power, B class. I'm just going to check, because I think this is actually the reactor where you can get 30 something. So we'll check that real quick. Where is it? Yes, that is you. Yes, so this is the reactor. This is the best B-class reactor in the game. This gives you 35 power. So obviously this is the 302, which is 27k for me. And then this one, which jumps up it gives you an extra 8 power, but it kind of doubles the... Well, no, its price is like an extra 13k. So I'd recommend upgrading that if you get the time, or if you want more power. And then we have this Aurora 13G grav drive from Deep Core B, 10 max power, and then it's got a grav jump thrust of 33, which in the current configuration gives us 30 light years. And then we have the engine here. We have 3 of these. These are the Dunn 21 engines from Amidun B class. They require 3 power. They have an engine thrust of 15,540 and a maneuvering thrust of 3,300. So we also have the shield. I completely missed. This is the Osiris 2030B shield generator from Protectorate System, B class, A power, A30 shield. Just want to really quickly see if there is a... There's an upgraded version. Okay, so there is. This is the 230, the 2030. The 2040 is a straight upgrade. That is 995 power. Now, obviously, if you do the Vanguard quest line, you get the exact same profile. It's also B class. Requires 4 more power, but it gives 1450 shield. That's like the second best shield in the game. Just something to note. And then for aesthetics, we have obviously 4 of these portholes, 2 on each side, and then 2 of the top portholes. We have this Nova Cowling 1LTF, and we have this Hope Tech radiator. I really like that radiator. It's a really cool piece. Now onto the middle of the ship. At the front here, we have a Magellan C1 cockpit, Nova Galactic. It's got 200 cargo space, a crew of 2. Then behind that, we have the Nova Galactic control station, 2x1. This gives you the 4 crew. Followed by a Nova Galactic computer core, 2x1. It gives a crew of 1. And then we have the Nova Galactic all-in-one berth, 2x1B. And then we have the Nova Galactic 1x1 companionway. Oh, this is a pretty capable ship, and obviously you can modify it to suit your needs. If you're going to use it as a kind of a lived-in ship, I would recommend putting extra cargo on it, but I would also probably recommend removing this computer core room, because to my knowledge, having multiple habitats that give crew, it overrides. It's really weird. So this one is like not necessary. Like you already see, we have 2 crew from there, from the cockpit, 4 from this, which would be 6, and then that would be 7. But obviously it doesn't work like that. So yeah, so this is kind of not really needed. I'd probably put a workshop here, potentially, just so you can customize stuff. But anyway. And then for the weaponry, we have a pair of these KE-42A autocannons, B class, 1500 range, 5 fire rate, 20 hull damage, and 4 power. Pretty decent. I really like these autocannons. They remind me of the PDCs from The Expanse, so I rock them on all my ships. I just wish there was like smaller turreted versions so they could feel like actual PDCs, but anyway. And then on the port wing here we have a Sukisasu 25k missile launcher. I apologize to anybody that might be Japanese. I have butchered that. I think it's Japanese. I believe it's Japanese because it's by Shinigami. And I think they're modeled on like a Japanese company like Ryujin. So it's a B class, 5100 range, fire rate of 1. It's 54.59 damage and requires 3 power. And then obviously we have the other autocannon here. And then here we have the Reza 600 THC pulse laser, another Shinigami. This is a B class, 600 range, 5 fire rate, 20 damage to shield, and 4 power, which is pretty good. And then we have the engines here. I believe, just to double check, yes, they are the 2 of the same engines. The reason I'm just double checking is because I was reviewing a ship and they had all the same engines, but they were all different types. Like some were like a tier higher, some were a tier lower. It was very confusing, but anyway. And then we have 2 of these M40 Ulysses Helium 3 tanks from Dogstar. They give 150 jump each, so 300 altogether. And then for the aesthetics of this ship, we have a pair of these Deimos bumpers here, starboard and port. Another pair of the bumpers, these are the longer, the 2x1. And then we have 2 of these Shroud Cowlings, 3LA, port and starboard, Shroud Eklund. We have the Nova weapon mount, really cool piece. My only wish is I wish you could mount it backwards, but for the moment you can't. And then we have the 2 of these, by the way. And then we have 2 of these Shroud Eklund engine mounts. Really love these engine mounts. They're really cool. I currently rock my main ship. And then the final section of the vessel. So we have habitat modules. We have 2 of these storerooms here, 1x1. We have another storeroom, 1x1 there. And we have a landing bay, NG landing bay, all Nova Galactic. Now, I would probably recommend removing these 2 and replacing them with a 2x1. Potentially an infirmary, or let me see, what other modules do we have that we could do? Probably not going to tell me. Habitats. So we could put workshop. You could put the workshop down there actually if you wanted to keep your computer core room. You could put some living quarters, an infirmary. I'd probably opt to put maybe like an armory would be potential, like either an infirmary or like an armory, just to be that nice to your crew. And then for landing gear, we have 2 of these, 4 technically, Hope Tech 6 landing gear, Starboard 4. So these are all the one landing gear. But they kind of there's different stylings, so 2 of these here. And then we have 2 of these AccuLander 11 landing gear from Shroud Eklund. 4 of them all together. And then for the aesthetic pieces, we have this Nova Cowling 3LB4 here. And then we have a pair of these Tayo braking engines there. And then we have a pair of Shroud engine mounts there. So that's the ship itself. I'm just going to put it back together very quickly just to... Let me look. I want to check the back. See if it was up to me, I'd probably put something here. Now, I'm not... Maybe. Even like something like that, just something to support it. Like you could, obviously, you could do better. But something like that, I don't know why that's like not there. It just looks kind of, it looks a bit gaudy. Yeah, that was the ship review, guys. I hope you like it. Let me know if you guys have flown this ship or you're like looking to fly it. And don't forget to check out some of my other videos. And as always, thanks for watching.